Your last man alive. Ain't gonna happen. cNed shuts the chapter on this round, and Acend starting to tear away with a bit of a lead. And then one above. It's gonna be Zeke. It's cNed to shut it down. 12 is on the board. Acend a 1 away.
At that point, I mean, if you're a gambling man, you got to say it's tipped heavily in favor of Acend closing out the game there and then.
Zeke, what can you find from this Hiko? No one is
Don't stand up, Hiko. Don't stand up.
As soon as this is... Oh, the timing.
Oh my god.
He has no idea. They have no idea.
That's when 100 Thieves almost knew they'd pulled it off. When you break a young team like that, it's so difficult to get your head back in the game.
cNed's still alive. Okay, Nitro, there it is. Call on those years of experience. Call on it now, because don't call it a comeback. They've been it for years. 12-12, we're going OT.
Before we get into the video, I wanted to remind you that Every Second Counts is brought to you by Cisco, powering the future of esports. Now, when they formed, 100 Thieves were considered one of the deadliest rosters in Valorant. Made up of a superstar rookie and 4 veteran CSGO players, they had enough experience on the roster to be one of the best teams in NA Valorant right out of the gate.
TSM, there's only 2 players left. There's a 2 versus 4 for TSM. They have to find a way out of this situation, but it's getting worse and worse. And who better than Hiko to look to seal the deal here in this grand finals as Colors tries. He does all that he can, but it's simply not enough against 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves, they've done it. They are your First Strike North America champions.
But after missing VCT Masters Reykjavik, 100 Thieves had a lot to prove at their next major tournament, Masters Berlin. At first, things looked good. 100 Thieves topped their group in Berlin, and the first 2 maps of their quarterfinal series against Acend were pretty close. But map 3, Breeze, was a different story entirely.
But he doesn't have much time. He has to make the move now, and they are just playing Ring-a-Rosy. Look at them going around it. He gets the final 1, but cNed claims the round for Acend. That's just got called off. Absolutely unaware of maybe Starzo's positioning. But yeah. Oh! cNed! He still looks for it, finds Nitro. Huge impact for him. Luckily for him, Starzo's bailed him out as well. Starzo's playing well from the site. Tries to control these building threats that were just kind of looming in the background and steal. Your last man alive. Ain't gonna happen. cNed shuts the chapter on this round, and Acend starting to tear away with a bit of a lead.
Acend finished the first half up 8-4, just 5 rounds from victory. And it was thanks in part to an absolutely spectacular performance from their unstoppable Jett player, cNed.
Still showing presence, but he knows there's going to be a close coming in here, and it's from the back lines. Ethan denied. Kiles beside him. Nitro's gone. cNed! This is the man we waited to see.
cNed is one of the greatest Jett players in the world. And facing down 100 Thieves in Berlin, he showed off exactly why.
His adaptiveness is very, very high at a high level. He immediately sees a situation and knows what to do. Instinctually, you can already tell he's not thinking about it, he's just doing. Players that are more like that and play more off instinct than off of overthinking will almost always be better players.
cNed dropped a combined 46 kills across the first 2 maps and ended map 2, a map Acend lost, by the way, with an insane 307 ACS.
You think back to kind of like the early days of it, especially EU, when you think back to Mixwell on the Jett, and it wasn't kind of this hyper aggro play style. I think cNed was probably the only regional, example of somebody we saw do something that, Wardell and Tens were doing in the early days of North America. But I think he did it better. Ultimately, teams were trying to hard counter any team with a strong operator player.
He was almost single-handedly ripping 100 Thieves in half, round after round. They simply didn't have an answer for the Turkish terror, and his team was loving it.
We got a million lives just like this. So let's get down to business.
The first half where every single kill, people were, Acend was screaming. They were on their feet throughout the game and stuff.
Remember, there was a lot on the line for 100 Thieves. After missing the previous Masters event in Reykjavik, this was the big chance for this team of veterans to finally prove themselves on the international stage. Again, with multiple old school CSGO players on their roster, 100 Thieves had a ton of experience. On paper, they were a team built to handle this kind of pressure. And yet when round 20 began, with Acend on match point, things spiraled out of control immediately.
Important thing is, Acend still have a second player committed behind his Viper Spin. Now that could potentially catch 100 Thieves off guard, just like cNed will find Steel inside shop.
Steel now just has to sit back and watch.
Now, it might not look like it, but this was the moment the greatest comeback in Valorant history began. You see, before the round even started, Steel placed Viper's toxic screen across A site.
Yeah, so the main purpose of the default wall, I guess, on A site on Breeze for the attackers is to deny a lot of those kind of long and kind of deep angles for the defenders, particularly where, you know, operators can flourish and whatnot, and force them to kind of take an advantageous peak. If the defenders want to swing through that, then ultimately the attackers have the advantage, right? And also it gives a lot of opportunity for, in terms of the space it covers, you know, recon bolts to be sent behind it, lots of angles to be opened up by the attackers if they do want to push up behind it.
But over the course of the first 19 rounds, 100 Thieves didn't really find any success attacking this site. Every single time they tried, one thing got in the way. Well, one player, cNed.
Has to respect it, has to go through the wall as well. Gonna find one, gets away. It's now on Steel here. Time is on cNed's side this time, but Steel kept going. He kept looking for that fight. And cNed down to 35 HP. Steel a little better off here. Gonna try and deny some angles from him. Steel could do with this one. He doesn't expect the peek again. It's still a miss, but that one isn't. cNed's got it 3 for him.
cNed constantly held aggressive angles and picked off members of the North American team so quickly, he basically ended rounds before they really began. But this time was different. 100 Thieves had no intention of actually hitting a site, they just wanted to check the site for info, hoping that they might find cNed. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell would they be looking for cNed when he had been dominating them all game? Well, the answer is simple. They wanted to avoid him. So as the round got underway, 100 Thieves made some noise towards A site using a bit of utility to sell the fake. But they still weren't 100% sure where cNed was. Steel then lowered his toxic screen for a brief moment while Nitro, who was sitting back cave, quickly jump spotted the site and saw cNed. Immediately, 100 Thieves started rotating to the other side of the map. But Steel didn't leave right away. He stuck around, hoping to get a pick when someone rotated to the other site. Unfortunately for Steel, cNed killed him as soon as he put his wall down. And at this point, most people thought the game was over. It's match point for Acend, 4v5 in their favor, and cNed has the op.
It's over. It's freaking over.
Man, I'm so confused. I feel like we've solo peeked cNed a million times over.
Even though he failed to get a kill, Steel's role as the sacrificial lamb actually set up an unbelievable play from 100 Thieves.
He'll put it into like some bone cold, and they know it now. Killers now knows what's coming his way. He's going to put up anything he can to try and make this trickier. But they close the gap. Acend, great breakthrough kill, but good work again. Acend is still doing it, but cNed, he's here. He's finally arrived, and he gets sent packing. Nitro out of nowhere. And now Zeke in the 1v2. Is it now? Is it the next, or is it never? Zeke, what can you find from this Hiko? Little on his own.
Don't stand up, Hiko. Don't stand up.
As soon as this is... Oh, the timing.
Oh my god.
He has no idea. They have no idea. Hiko's walking towards CT. Now they know. And the position from Hiko should be a gift. It should be the golden position to catch this cross. And Zeke can only take steps. The gun barrel shows Hiko knows it. They live to fight one more round.
This round began the most incredible comeback in Valorant history. Let's break it down second by second. While Steel died on A site, 100 Thieves took up an advanced position in B elbow. Bone Cold put down a Viper's Pit on B main, but Asna cleared that spot moments before. So 100 Thieves knew they could avoid walking through the Viper ult, and all they needed to worry about was getting an entry kill through B tunnel. Now, it's a race to the site. cNed rotated through the defender side spawn, while 100 Thieves made their way through the tunnel.
As they work their way up elbow, the swing, it'll put it in towards the likes of Kiles. He'll put it into the likes of Bone Cold, and they know it now. Kiles now knows what's coming his way. He's going to put up anything he can to try and make this trickier. But they close the gap. Asuna, great breakthrough kill, but good work again. Asuna is still doing it, but cNed, he's here.
Asuna exploded onto the site, getting 2 entry frags before he was traded out by cNed. But while Asuna was doing damage, Nitro used up all of his knives except one. And with Hiko holding for the mid push, all the pressure was on Nitro to hit his next shot.
But cNed, he's here. He's finally arrived. And he gets sent packing. Nitro out of nowhere. And now Zeke in the 1v2. Is it now? Is it the next or is it never?
After his incredible headshot on cNed, Nitro quickly grabbed the spike from Tunnel while Hiko used his drone to try and locate the last remaining member of Acend, Zeke. Things were going well, but to complete a comeback like this, 100 Thieves needed all the stars to align. Luckily, just as Hiko was getting off his drone, he was blessed by the Valorant gods.
Zeke, what can you find from this Hiko? A little on his own.
Don't stand up, Hiko. Don't stand up.
As soon as this is... Oh, the timing.
Oh my god.
He has no idea. They have no idea. Hiko's walking towards CT.
At the exact moment that Zeke decided to jump down from Nest, Hiko stood up. For a split second, everybody watching on Twitch could see Hiko's head, but because of the timing, Zeke had no idea where he was. If Hiko stood up before Zeke dropped down from Nest, or if Zeke just waited a fraction of a second, Zeke would have had a free kill onto Hiko, and Acend could have clutched it out in the 1v1. But in that second, Zeke made the choice to drop down, and he sealed his team's fate.
Now they know, and the position from Hiko should be a gift. It should be the golden position to catch this cross. And Zeke can only take steps. The gun barrel shows Hiko knows it. They live to fight one more round. They continue in this fashion.
There's always this talk of, you know, oh, this person's so experienced and yada yada. That there, I think, is one of the best examples you'd probably get. I mean, how many Hiko clutches do you see where it's like you can appreciate the mechanical skill and blah blah blah, and you know the power of the outplay and the brains and whatnot. But that right there is just such a tiny thing. That's not necessarily like a highlight or anything, but it's the small things that add up to make a fantastic player. And my reaction was just, I was mind blown. I don't think I actually vocalized it, but I was mind blown that he actually considered to crouch. That was the most shocking part to me.
Halfway through this round, it looked unwinnable, but now 100 Thieves were poised to make a comeback. The next round was pretty straightforward. Acend's economy was trash and 100 Thieves cleaned them up. Then in round 22, despite a better buy, Acend still couldn't cobble together a win. cNed tried his hardest, but 100 Thieves overwhelmed him in a 4v1 entry onto the site.
1v4. And this would be double digits for 100 Thieves. So desperately needed. He's trying to play something almost ninja in this. Not going to happen. Hiko's got him.
Oh,
we're at double digits, boys.
God.
It's looking like OT, Hypoc.
Round 23 was another eco from Acend and a flawless win for 100 Thieves. Round 24 was the final chance for Acend to close it out before OT. But they were too tilted, and 100 Thieves' strategy was too strong. 100 Thieves identified cNed wasn't on A, and then went in before he could finish rotating.
What? Wait, Hiko, what just happened? It's okay, it's okay. Or is it? cNed's still alive. Okay, Nitro, there it is. Call on those years of experience. Call on it now, because don't call it a comeback. They've been it for years. 12-12, we're going OT.
And then the 2 rounds of overtime were nice and easy for 100 Thieves, as Acend's mental was absolutely shattered.
cNed, Zeke, Killers, there's the dig deep, there's the team you need to be seeing. Killers on the swing, gets caught by Nitro. cNed and Zeke, the last 2 alive, and Zeke is already tagged low. This needs to be some of that cNed work, and it's not going to happen. Nitro has outdone him, Steel's outdone him. 100 Thieves take the lead. This could be it. 100 Thieves on the verge of destroying Acend, ripping the lead away from them as Zeke and cNed need to rise above, and they can't do it. Nitro to close. A flawless round to win it on. And again, against the round score, against every aspect of this game, 100 Thieves just rose to the occasion.
100 Thieves came all the way back, winning 14-12 in overtime. But that would have never been possible if it weren't for that single pivotal round. 100 Thieves found an innovative strategy. cNed was dumpstering them, so they decided to avoid him instead of fighting him head on.
In terms of consistency and in terms of single impact, I don't think anybody comes close to cNed on Acend, which is no shun to them whatsoever. cNed's a fantastic player, but if you can find a player like that and simply eliminate him from the game by not even entertaining him, then it's massive. I mean, it's no secret that cNed is a huge win condition for Acend.
A lot of people were hyped about cNed. How good is he? How tough was it to play against him?
I mean, you could tell we were just going away from him. We're like, all right, let's find cNed and go the other way.
That's the strat.
Steel dying looked like a misplay, but it kept cNed busy for just long enough that 100 Thieves could take control of the site and neutralize his influence on the round. How were they able to make this split-second decision to enact this innovative strategy? It's simple. Experience.
100 Thieves is a team of experience. That experience showed through the comeback on Breeze. How in the world did you guys pull that off?
We take the game more seriously when we are down and we stop trolling as much. So it's easier. Like if we went in and you changed the scoreboard and said like we were losing the game 4-8 when it was like 0-0, we'd be insane. We'd 13-0 everyone.
Most of 100 Thieves' roster are veterans of the CSGO scene, and their ability to play calm under pressure on the biggest stages is what helped them buckle down and make the comeback. Acend, on the other hand, well, they struggled.
I cannot believe it. 100 Thieves pull something from the depths of all these years of experience. And Acend now gotta be feeling the heat. I can tell you right now, it's almost silent out there, and it has been for 5 rounds now.
Acend was an extremely inexperienced roster. This was all of the players' first ever major LAN, and despite their arrogance when they were in the lead, they couldn't handle the pressure when the game started slipping away from them.
When you break a young team like that, it's so difficult to get your head back in the game. Whereas with 100 Thieves, I mean, there must be like 35 plus years combined of veteran LAN experience there on that roster, which it's worth its weight in gold in that scenario alone.
Meanwhile, most of 100 Thieves' players have been on both sides of this situation before. They've made comebacks, and they've crumbled in the face of unbelievable resilience. That incredible round, and the rounds that followed, are proof that experience changes everything at a high level. Unfortunately for 100 Thieves, their run ended in the semi-finals with a 2-0 loss to Envy. But they proved that when the pressure is on, they can still clutch it out. And while Acend were knocked out of the tournament by 100 Thieves' incredible comeback, their future is still bright. cNed, the star player that 100 Thieves literally spent the map running away from, is only 19 years old, and now he's gained some of the experience that 100 Thieves have. He's seen it happen to him, and that knowledge only makes a player stronger. 100 Thieves had that knowledge in Berlin, and their comeback is proof that experience is key when every second counts. In the next episode of Every Second Counts, presented by Cisco, we're going to break down one of the most iconic plays in Dota history.
But they're fully low OGD. That's Soda's dead for 2 minutes. They get Thompson dead for 2 minutes. Only Anna. Can he do it here? He's at half LC. He gets the call of his lifetime.
It's Seb's axe call from TI8. Check it out on December 22nd.